Have you ever wondered what would happen if we simply let global warming continue unchecked? It's an unsettling question, isn't it? One that brings to mind visions of a world on fire, of rising seas and disappearing coastlines. Global warming, a phenomenon we've been aware of for decades, is the long-term heating of Earth's climate system, observed since the pre-industrial period. The consensus among scientists, it's primarily caused by human activities, particularly those that increase concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, such as deforestation and burning fossil fuels. Yet, despite this knowledge, there's a profound lack of action. It's as if we've collectively decided to turn a blind eye, to remain passive in the face of a crisis that threatens our very existence. Some might say the world is sleepwalking into catastrophe. So what happens if we continue down this path? What if we simply do nothing? Let's delve into the potential consequences of this inaction. Global temperatures have been steadily rising, with 19 of the 20 warmest years on record occurring since 2001. A statement that rings alarm bells in the minds of those who understand the implications. Let's delve a little deeper into the compelling statistics about rising global temperatures, shall we? The year 2020, a year we all remember for its challenges, was also the second hottest year on record. It was just a hair's breadth away from 2016, the reigning champion of heat. This isn't a competition we want to be winning, but it seems our planet is on a hot streak, pun intended. The rise in global temperatures isn't just a gradual incline, it's more like a steep hill, the kind of hill you'd think twice about cycling up. It's an acceleration that's been particularly noticeable in the last decade. The world's average surface temperature has risen about 2 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century, and most of that warming has occurred in the past 40 years. Now, a 2-degree rise might not sound like much. Perhaps it's the difference between wearing a light jacket or leaving it at home. But when we're talking about our planet's average temperature, it's a big deal. It's like running a fever that never breaks, causing all sorts of complications for the body. Except in this case, the body is our Earth. So let's put this into perspective. If Earth was 100 meters from the Sun in the 1880s, today, it would be about 102 meters closer. That might not seem like a huge leap, but remember, we're not talking about a sprint. We're talking about a marathon. And in a marathon, every step counts. We're living in a world that's getting hotter, faster. And this isn't some far-off prediction. It's happening right here, right now. We're in the thick of it, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not. But what does this mean for our planet? Well, let's explore that in the next scene. If we continue on this path, the results will be catastrophic. This isn't a prediction. It's a reality we are already witnessing, and if we don't act, the future looks bleak. Let's start with rising sea levels. Picture this, the entire city of Miami, Florida, submerged underwater. Sounds like a scene from a dystopian novel, right? But this isn't fiction. If we don't curb our greenhouse gas emissions, this could become our reality. Scientists predict that by the end of this century, sea levels could rise by nearly 2 meters. That would mean coastal cities like Miami, New York, and Amsterdam could be partially or entirely submerged. Next, let's talk about extreme weather events. We've all seen the headlines: worst flood in a century, record-breaking heat wave, unprecedented wildfire. These aren't isolated incidents, they're part of a larger pattern linked to global warming. In the last 2 decades alone, the number of record-breaking weather events has doubled. If we continue on this trajectory, such extreme weather events will become our new normal. Lastly, let's not forget about the mass extinction of species. Global warming doesn't just affect us, it affects all life on Earth. Rising temperatures and changing weather patterns can disrupt ecosystems, leading to the extinction of countless species. We're not just talking about polar bears and penguins, we're talking about bees, which play a crucial role in pollination, or coral reefs, which provide habitats for a quarter of all marine species. If we lose these species, we lose biodiversity, and that could have far-reaching consequences for our planet's health. Now, Imagine all these effects combined: entire cities submerged, extreme weather events becoming commonplace, countless species disappearing. This is the world we're heading towards if we don't take action against global warming. And these are just the beginning. We have the power to change course, to prevent this dystopian future from becoming our reality. But we need to act, and we need to act now. Global warming is not just an environmental issue, it's a human issue. And it's high time we understood how this crisis is deeply entwined with our lives, our societies, and our future. Let's start with health. As average temperatures rise, so does the prevalence of heat-related illnesses. We're talking about heat strokes and cardiovascular issues, and it doesn't stop there. Insects, like mosquitoes, thrive in warming climates, increasing the spread of diseases like malaria and dengue fever. Some estimates suggest that by the middle of this century, billions more people could be exposed to mosquito-borne diseases than today. Then there's the food we eat. Global warming affects agricultural yield. In fact, for every degree Celsius that global temperatures rise, grain yields could fall by 5 to 15%. This could lead to a significant food shortage given the ever-growing world population. And when resources become scarce, conflict arises. Dwindling water supplies, failed crops, and extreme weather events can lead to displacement of people, breeding ground for civil unrest and even war. A study published in the journal Nature estimates that over the course of this century, with every half degree of warming, roughly 1 to 3% of the global population could be displaced due to climate change. These are not just numbers, these are people. People like you and I, whose lives are being upended by the warming of our planet. People who are losing their homes, their livelihoods, their loved ones. This is the human impact of global warming. It's not just about melting ice caps or dying coral reefs. It's about the very fabric of our societies being torn apart. It's about the future of our children and grandchildren being put at risk. We are not just destroying our planet, we are destroying our future. And it's up to us to turn the tide, to stand up against this crisis, and to fight for a world that is safe, secure, and sustainable for all. But it's not too late. We can still make a difference. As we face the daunting reality of global warming, it's crucial to remember that every individual, every community, and every government has the power to enact change. Small ripples can create significant waves, and it starts with each of us making conscious, sustainable choices in our daily lives. So, what can we as individuals do? To begin with, we can reduce our carbon footprint by making simple lifestyle changes. Opt for public transport, cycling, or walking over private vehicles. Minimize energy consumption by turning off lights and unplugging electronics when not in use. Choose to support businesses that prioritize sustainability and reduce, reuse, and recycle whenever possible. Communities can also play a significant role in combating global warming. Organize or participate in local cleanup drives. Advocate for renewable energy sources in your area. Encourage local businesses to adopt sustainable practices. Remember, collective action has the power to bring about transformative change. At a higher level, governments must also take responsibility. They have the authority to implement policies that favor renewable energy, reduce carbon emissions, and promote sustainable development. They can invest in climate research, education, and innovation, and lead the way in international climate agreements. However, it's important to remember that tackling global warming is not just about making changes in our own lives, but also about holding corporations and governments accountable. We must demand transparency and action, and vote for leaders who prioritize the environment. The fight against global warming is a shared endeavor. It's about realizing that our individual actions matter, and that together we can create a world that's sustainable and habitable for generations to come. Remember, every step, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. Every effort, no matter how minor, contributes to the larger goal. Every voice, no matter how quiet, adds to the growing chorus calling for change. The time for action is now. Do your part and let's fight for our future together.